Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of El Local. I am your host, Eddie Gonzalez, and today I am excited. I have Maria Martinez joining me today.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. Maria, you are a real estate agent,
Yes.
an entrepreneur,
Yes.
and a lady of many traits.
Some, some may say.
And so I'm glad to have you here to just talk about what it is that you're doing with your life as far as, like I said, entrepreneuring, real estate agent, and let's get the show on the road.
Let's start. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're a real estate agent. And
Yes.
so what got you to become a real estate agent? How long have you been a real estate agent, and what got you to become a real estate agent?
I became a real estate agent in the beginning of 2024. The reason why I became a real estate agent was in the future, I want to have my real estate portfolio. And I feel like seeing my parents coming to the USA, with nothing in their pockets,
Yeah.
just a dream and wanting to do better for their family, showed me that it's possible to, create wealth on your own, create wealth for your family and for yourself, and just to do better and be better for yourself. I feel as if my parents were a very good guide for me, and they showed me the ways. And I feel
Yes.
like for me, it's seeing my parents purchase their first home. A lot of people don't get the knowledge, they don't get the experience of purchasing a new home because sometimes they're afraid of putting themselves out there and
Yes.
questioning people and,
Yes.
informing themselves in what's out there. I feel like taking the first step is being curious. So for my parents, they were tired of renting.
Yeah.
They didn't want to rent anymore. They didn't want to be part of moving around, which was a lot of what we were doing when we were younger. And once my parents purchased their own home, after they purchased it, they just started their own real estate portfolio. So I feel like for me, it was a good stepping stone to see how everything is played out. And I would say I started to become a real estate agent. I became a real estate agent because I know that there's families out there that need guidance, that need help. And that's what me and, my team do, Prime Home Loans and TR Real Estate. We focus in helping the clients and guiding them through whatever step they need. Sometimes we get calls and things that aren't even real estate related, and we built that trust
The
and
relationship.
that relationship with our clients, instead of just let's help you buy a home. It's more about like building and just being there for our clients.
So your parents being the reason why you
Yes.
become, and I understand that because especially in the community that we're at, right? It's a heavy Mexican American, Mexican Latino community.
Yes.
That is difficult to even fathom, to even think about purchasing and owning a home because it seems so out of reach,
Yes.
So I understand how that could be difficult for people. And I can imagine the struggle of your family trying to reach that goal.
Yes.
And so what I really do like, and like you're saying, that your firm builds on that relationship because it's not always about just purchasing the home.
Yes.
And I think that's very awesome that you guys do that because I think that speaks volumes.
Yes, I feel like with myself and my team, I speak from my personal experience, but I feel like we focus on, getting the client to a position where they don't have to worry about anything, which is purchasing a home, having payments to do, we always try to focus on what we can do to help the clients be in the best position they can when they purchase a home, not just going straight into the home and purchase it and just forget about them a couple of years. Every year, what we do as well is we send yearly calendars.
Yeah.
Just reminding the clients, we're here for you for whatever you need. This is something new that's coming up in our firm. So I feel like that's a good thing that we do as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just keeping up, right? It's
Just
not
keeping up.
it's post
Yes.
buying a home. And you kind of made a quick point right there. It's not just about purchasing the home, because I think everyone, I have a house, right? And they don't, sometimes they don't think a year later, right? 5 years, 10 years down the line, right? It's just buy a home and that's it, but it's not. So, what advice do you really have for those people that, you know, once they purchase a home, the next steps? How do you guys prepare those homeowners for the future?
I say for the future is just informing our clients in the payments that they have to do. I feel like with a lot of new home buyers,
Mm-hmm.
they're not aware of taxes that you have to be paying every year.
Yes.
So I feel like that's a big one. Insurance as well. It just depends on the type of mortgage that you got for your home. There's a lot of mortgages that start off with 3%, which is first-time home buyers, 5%, which is starts as conventional, and it goes all the way to 20%. So in between those percentages in your mortgage, we are able to help you, see what you will be paying every month and what you'll be paying every year. The taxes are based on the home purchase, and the mortgage is based on the percentage and the home purchase as well, but it's mostly on the percentage that you put down for your home, whether it be a 3% or a 20%.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit of numbers, right? So let's say I have $500,000,
Yes.
right? And I want to purchase a home. From the minute I speak to a real estate agent, as yourself, to grabbing those keys and moving in, what is that process? So where does it start and where does it finish, and what's that in between like?
I feel like it's everyone's position is different, everyone's case is different, but I feel like if we were talking about an process, it would start off with you're interested in the home, you reach out to a real estate agent or a broker. If you have a broker, they'll find the real estate agent. But mostly, what we want to do is focus on getting the home, the whatever home you would like to go see. What we do is we bring you into the office. We ask a couple questions. We look around in the MLS, which is a website that we real estate agents use.
What is the MLS?
The MLS is a website that we use as real estate agents to see homes that are on the market and are coming out in the market.
Okay.
So what we would do is, as real estate agents, if you're a real estate agent and the seller side, you are able to post the home for other real estate agents saying, we're getting this home ready. This home is coming up X, Y, Z days, and we just need a couple more things to finish. And then what we do as real estate agents who are helping a buyer is we make sure that the buyer is able to sustain the mortgage every month, is able to sustain their bills, because you always need to see that in consideration. You need to take that in consideration, that the bills that you have throughout your month, regarding if it's solar panels, if it's cars, if it's, whatever that credit cards. XYZ. We just want to make sure that you're able to have your mortgage paid and your other bills paid as well. And what we do is, this is more into a loan officer is position, but we want to make sure that you are able to have what you make a year and what you make a month go add up to the home that you're purchasing. So if you want to purchase a $500,000 home, we want to make sure that you're able to sustain the mortgages every month, the taxes, insurances, and just have everything ready and set up.
Yeah. And you had mentioned broker. So what is the difference between a broker and a real estate agent, and how do they work together for someone to get that home?
So for a loan officer, also a broker, is they focus more on numbers. They focus on making sure that everything you're getting paid, everything that you make essentially every year, every month, is adding up to the mortgage. It's adding up to the home that you will be purchasing, just so you are able to get into the home. Usually when you're going to purchase a home, and let's just say you go out and look at homes with your real estate agent, which is what we usually do. We make sure that we show you all the homes that you'll like to see, that you're able to purchase the homes that you're seeing, and we make sure that all the paperwork and everything is good for the home
Yeah.
before you move in.
Yes.
And what we do is we take you out, and the loan officer, what we have in our office as well, we have both real estate and a broker.
That's a double whammy.
Yeah,
That's really
yes,
good.
which is really good.
Are usual real estate firms like that, or?
No, not a lot of them, but what we do is since we have both of them, all your paperwork is being seen from both sides.
Okay.
We're making sure that the home that you're purchasing is the right one for you. So the process is you put in an offer, your real estate agent writes up an offer for you and your family or your friends or whoever you'll be buying or purchasing a home. It's usually up to 4 people.
Okay.
So for those 4 people, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
Yeah.
4 people. We just make sure that you are able to go into the offer, and when it's accepted, we try to make sure the steps are very clear. We make sure that your W-2s are in, your taxes are in, your credits in, so everything goes into play.
Okay. And so, because you have both in your firm, right? So it seems like it's just an easier process for everything to kind of just run smoothly, right? So what is that paperwork and the acceptance, how long does that take?
Usually when you put in an offer, we try to strive for 30 days.
30 days.
But usually it doesn't play out like
Yeah,
that.
because you have to worry about any
other
scenario,
things.
XYZ could happen, you know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that could happen throughout the process, which is usually 30 days. Things that have happened throughout the processes that we've had is, making sure that we are aligning your employers and your W-2. So we want to make sure that the broker makes sure that makes sure that you're able to prove that the hours and the money that you're getting is from your employer. So what we get is a VOE, and the VOE stands for a verification of employment from your employer. And usually when we send those out to the employers, it depends on their schedule. So sometimes it's hard to get information back from them. Yes.
Okay. And so once that information is received, once everything clears, do I get the keys right away?
Once it's cleared and it's in escrow, which is usually where the money is held. And usually when you are cleared without the conditions, as a buyer, as a real estate agent, we make sure that everything's good. We ask for paperwork. We ask for whatever we need throughout the process. So the bank makes sure that you are equipped to buy the home that you put an offer for.
Yeah. Okay. So give or take maybe 3 months, 6 months.
I would say,
from your experiences, what's been that timetable?
I would say like a month.
A month.
Okay. A month and a couple days. Depending.
Okay, it's like a month and a half, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, so usually it's less than 45 days.
Okay.
To make sure from the start where you put in the offer and it gets accepted to the end where you get the keys, it's about a 30 to 40 day process.
Okay. And from your experiences, have you seen something that kind of derailed? Is there like a common denominator that kind of just like, okay, this throws a wrench, that throws a wrench,
I feel like for us, it's mostly when people put a down payment. So it varies on the down payment that the person puts. But what we've seen is that when we get a lower down payment, we have more hardships. We have more things that we have to be checking just because the bank wants to make sure that they are getting the money that they are lending you. So if they lend, like, let's just say you put a 3.5 down payment, which is first time home buyers, or if you're a first time home buyer and you purchased a home and you want to purchase another home, you are able to do a first time home buyer. There's a process to that as well. But for a 3.5 down payment, it's usually harder, I would say, just because we have to make sure, and the bank needs to make sure that the money that they're lending you is legit. Gonna come back. Yes. So that's why I feel like a conventional, which is from 5 to 20%, is what we like to see, which is a shorter process for both the buyer, the seller, and the real estate agent.
Okay. I kind of have a question kind of going into like the real estate population, like let's say, so you kind of do real estate agents that are not in the same firm, like let's say you know someone else that works at a different firm, you guys all kind of communicate to make sure what's in, what's out. Let's say I hire you, you're my real estate agent, and I want to purchase or look at a home that's not on your listing, but is on another real estate agent's listing. How do you? Because right, you sign that that what was that called?
A contract.
Contract,
Yes.
right? So you sign that contract. I'm going to you, but I like that house.
Yeah.
You know, how do you navigate that?
So how it works is essentially I'm a real estate agent, but I could work for the seller and the buyer. So when a real estate agent has a home listed, they are working with the seller. So they need a real estate agent who is working with the buyer, or they find their own buyer as well. They could work a dual, which is buyer and seller. For in this case, let's just say you want to purchase a home and you see it, but it's listed from another real estate agent.
Yeah.
What I do as your real estate agent is I get in contact with the listing real estate agent, the seller's real estate agent who's working with them, and I say, you know, I have a buyer. They want to purchase your home or your seller's home, and they're interested in it. Usually, we want to make sure that their offers that they're accepting, there's no deadline, because a lot of real estate agents have a deadline.
Okay.
And they say, I need all offers due tomorrow at 12 p.m. And you, as a real estate agent, I need to make sure, you know, all your paperwork's ready.
Yeah.
Whatever we will be needing is there,
Okay.
essentially. So what happens is that when that's ready, I put in an offer, I write it up, I send it to the real estate agent. And they speak to their seller and they say, you know, we got an offer, you know, what do you think? And they talk to their sellers, and that's when either it gets accepted or it gets, you know, pushed to a side.
Okay. Okay. So the process. Okay.
It's a process.
Yeah. It
It's
seems
a
like
process
it's
for
for
the whole
everything.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Kind of going back to you becoming an agent, schooling, tests. What is it that you need to do to become an agent, and what is that process like? Because I know it's not like a trade where you go to school to become a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You take some classes maybe, but like, what is that process to get your license official?
Well, there's some schools who offer real estate courses.
Okay.
There's what I did personally is I took courses online. It's usually you want to pick 3 topics regarding the real estate industry. And from there, when you're finished with those 3, you choose from whichever ones, finance, real estate. They offer those type of courses for you. And when you're done with those, you know, you get a certificate from each one and a certificate for the whole school, the whole course that you finished. After you do all that paperwork and all that schooling, the courses usually takes up to for me, it took up to 3 months. It could be shorter, it could be longer, depending on the person and how you want to do your courses, how long you take into them. After that, you are able to sign up for your real estate license. So your state license in this state is California. So what I did is I finished my courses. I submitted my information. Here are the courses I finished. This is my information. This is who I am. And when I signed up to be a real estate agent and to take the exam, there was, I believe, a 3 to 4 period waiting list. So there was in that time, it was about 40 to 70 real estate agents wanting to be real estate agents. Yeah. So there was a lot of people wanting to be real estate agents. So it took about 3 months to 4 months to get a date to take the test.
Okay.
So after I got an approved, like, you're next on the waiting list. After that passed, I was able to sign up for a date. When that day came and I went to take my exam, I did not pass.
Oh, no.
It took me 5 tries to pass the test just because.
5 times the charm?
Yeah. I was like, it was a lot for me just because I feel like I was ready. I was going to pass it on the first try, second try, third try. But, you know, when it came to the 5th one, I was already like, I don't know.
Well, you know what? Some people are not good test takers, you know? And so maybe you just needed that couple times and it happens, right? What is it that they ask you? Like what? Because I know they ask you about numbers, right? I'm sure they ask you about numbers. Like, what about the test was hard?
I think the test,
other than not being a test taker?
I feel like for me, it was just how long it was. I feel like being in there and answering 150 questions,
Oh, wow.
and you're only supposed to you're supposed to get at least 70% of the
Okay.
test. So I feel like you were only supposed to miss, I think it was like 20.
Do they give you a time frame? Like you have an hour, 2
Yeah,
hours?
you have 2 hours to finish it. So yeah.
150 questions for 2 hours.
And I feel like it's a long process when you're in there just because there's a lot of people trying to get in and take the test as well.
I can only imagine the pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like when I passed the test, I felt in me that I passed it because they don't tell you your results right away.
Okay.
So you have to wait at least 24 hours and you check online, and after you check, it tells you either passed or you did not pass to reschedule your exam. So when I logged in to see my results, I was like, oh, I feel like I passed.
Yeah.
So I was checking, and when I checked, that's when I saw that I passed, but I couldn't believe it. I was
The state of shock.
I was just like, about time, like literally about time.
When taking the test, right? Is it the same test or different test?
They change it up.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
they change it up. So when I was saying that you choose 3 courses, topics that you want to do, the test is set up from five different real estate, I would say, topics that are done. They put them all together and they mix them up to make 150 questions.
Okay. Did you notice any of the same questions at all?
Yeah, there was a lot of repeats,
Okay.
but I feel like most of them were the ones that were missing,
Yeah.
or I didn't really know at that time.
Yeah, so 5th time's the charm.
Yes.
You know, better. You know, you passed. Do you have a cap off? Like right after so many tries, if you don't pass it, you know, obviously not for you because you passed it, but like, do they?
No, there's no cut.
There's no like you just keep on until you pass it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, usually when you retake it, you have to pay.
Oh, okay.
So you have to pay. I believe it was $30 to pay every test that you're taking, and I feel like a lot of people get discouraged from not passing it. And that's how I was feeling already on my last try. I told myself, you know, if I don't pass it, I'm going to keep trying until I do. I don't care if it takes me 10 tries, 20 tries. I'm not going to stop until I become a real estate agent.
Yeah, because that's your goal. That's what you want to do. That's awesome. And so once that happened, so how long have you been a real estate agent?
I became a real estate agent in 2024, in the beginning of 2024.
Okay. So this year?
Yes, this year.
Awesome.
I became a real estate agent. But I've been working at our firm, at our real estate office for, this year is 2 years now.
2 years?
I started with them as a property manager. I was doing property management, and I was doing, with them, I started learning about taxes, how to set up your taxes, how to do your own taxes, how to help others do taxes, and then just being around the office and being around people who are real estate agents and, you know, brokers, loan officers, kind of helped me in a way to become a real estate agent.
So you absorbed all that information.
I absorbed a lot of information from just being there and just hearing and taking in the advice that they would give me.
Okay. And what's the name of the firm that you work for?
I work for Prime Home Loans and Tierra Real Estate.
Shout out to you guys. Thank you for teaching her everything that she knows, because now she's here talking about
how I could guide others. Yes. I have a lot of people who ask me, you know, how can I get started? How do I become a real estate agent? You know, I'm thinking of becoming a real estate agent. I always say there's a lot of us, and you know, it's gonna keep going and until you find a way to actually take the initiative and become a real estate agent is when it's gonna start working for you.
Yeah.
And I would say it's hard, coming from my experience. Others may say, you know, it was easy, you know, a piece of cake. Some others may say, you know, I never finished it because
XYZ
it was
is hard.
it was too hard, excuses. So I feel like for me, it was like, it needs to be done because I'm already in too deep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already here, already taking the courses. I'm already working for a real estate firm. So I feel like, in a way, I pressured myself into becoming a real estate agent.
You're resilient.
Yes.
Very
I would
resilient,
say too.
yes.
And I feel like it's very hard for people to push themselves. And even for myself, sometimes I don't push myself to my fullest extent. But I feel like there's little things that I do to help myself get to where I want to be.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. And so this year up to now, how has your what has been your favorite experience? What has been your takeaway, since starting this year? Your highlight.
I feel like my highlight for this year, I feel not only just becoming a real estate agent, but
Uh,
I feel like communicating with people and families. I feel like I've had a couple families who I've been able to help out and show them homes
mhm.
and getting the experience and actually being a real estate agent
Yeah.
and just seeing how I was when I first started and not knowing anything and just being curious about it, having taking the first step to take the courses.
Yeah.
Days where I had to be at school because I graduated from career college,
Hmm.
and then having a night shift and having other things in my life going on,
Yeah.
and still being there taking my courses and pushing myself to be better. I feel like it paid off. It
Uh-huh.
feels like a
Hard
relief.
work. Yes.
Hard work,
Yes.
yes.
That's a different kind of appreciation because, uh, like you said, some people it just comes easy and natural to
Yes.
them. So like it's not that they don't appreciate it, but it's easy for them. For some people, like you said yourself, and even myself, it tastes a lot more sweeter when you put in that hard work.
Yes.
And I'm sure, like you're describing, that's what that is. So that's amazing. And what advice do you have for those people that you know are curious? They don't know if they can, purchase a home. They're thinking about it. Like, what do you tell them?
I feel like taking the first step and reaching out to a real estate agent, whether if it's myself or someone else, if
Reach out to her.
if you have anyone else, just asking questions. And also, if you don't have anyone to reach out to, you could also go on Zillow, go on realtors.com, go on any platform
Mm-hmm.
that has homes for sale and just see what you would like.
Yeah.
See what you are interested in. I want a home, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a backyard. I don't really mind the backyard. I want a townhome. Just making sure that
You're asking questions.
yes, you're able to build up your own ideas in the home that you would like to live in, or the
Okay.
one that you would like to move into, purchase, because it's an investment,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that will and could affect you,
Yeah.
either good or bad, regardless of how you are informed.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One of the things, kind of switching a little bit, with homes right now. What's the interest rates like right now? I know there's a lot going on right now in our community,
Yes.
in our country, in the world. How does that play a factor? And there's talks right now, right? And I'm sure, like you said, like you guys, like amongst real estate agents, talk about it. Maybe you guys find out information first before
Yes.
the everyone
The
else,
public does.
the public. Um, is there a possibility of a pop?
Well,
So because we had
we've
talked.
yes, we've spoken before
Yes.
about this, and I always tell it's very hard to know what will happen. It's like the gas prices. One day it's
Mhm.
like $5. One day it's $4,
Roller
$6,
coaster, yes.
$7. The highest we've seen. So I feel like it's the same with the interest rates. It's whatever's going on in your country, in your state,
Mhm.
in your city. So we might, from what we're seeing, we might see a crash. Slowly as of now, the interests are
Dropping.
dropping
Mhm.
very, like, a lot.
Because I know back in the pandemic, people had as low as what 3%
3%. Yes.
on homes. So lucky them.
Mhm.
But it seems like every time there's like a major some sort of event or even election year,
Mhm.
which is we're happening this
Yeah,
year,
right now. Mhm.
that plays a major factor.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm not gonna mention names, but we know who's running
Us-
on both sides.
yes,
But like
on both sides.
it's affecting, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
you guys are
affecting.
seeing it. So possibility.
Possibility. I feel like that's why you always have to be, ready for when something like that happens, because it does not stay forever.
Mhm.
It's very short.
Short
and
lived.
you don't know when it will come back. So I
Mhm.
feel like as a buyer, as a seller, you want to make sure that you are having all the documents that you are required to have. You are, you at least have some savings
Mm-hmm.
or have some money saved up.
Yeah.
You or your partner or anyone who will be buying a home with you is both ready with credit as well.
Yeah.
The credit, it just depends. A lot of people say, my credit isn't the best. My
Mm-hmm.
credit isn't where I want it to be. I don't know if I could buy a home because of my credit.
Yeah.
That's why we always say, come into the office. We want to make sure, because what we do is we run your credit. We
Yeah.
want to make sure that your credit is,
And you guys look at the numbers. It's not so
yes,
much credit in itself, but like the debt,
the
right?
debt, yeah.
Other things that play a factor to it. Okay.
Yes. So for 3.5%, which is first time home
Mm-hmm.
buyers, I believe the lowest that a credit could be is 580 up to 700,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes on conventional 5%. It starts off at 680 and up. So
Okay.
it's just depending on also the down payment. So
Yeah.
everything plays out on the down payment that you put down and how you are as a buyer or a seller.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you homeowner yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Homeowner myself,
Nice.
and hopefully in the future I continue to be, building, and not only a homeowner but a complex owner, a commercial owner as well.
So you like I said, we've spoken before, and so you want to open up you own a portfolio.
Yes.
And what are the three? If you get, what is your goal? What three locations would you want to own a home or a property in?
I feel like for me, my top three locally would probably be Santa Cruz County and Monterey County,
Okay.
and hopefully San Benito, which is Hollister,
Mm-hmm.
Monterey, Prundale, Santa Cruz, Watsonville. So I
Yeah.
feel like it just depends on the opportunity that I
Mhm.
get to purchase a home. Right now I don't have the most money in the world, but I'm just starting off, and I feel like if any opportunity comes to me, I will take it as in like a home purchase. Usually what I look for and what I was taught from my father is you always want to make sure that the home that you're buying is big enough for you to make, profit out of.
Mhm.
If you have an investment home, you want to make sure that it's a duplex, a triplex, a
Mhm.
fourplex for you to be
Build
able
off
to
and
build
grow.
off and not only pay your mortgage off, but be able to have extra income from
Okay.
the sources that are coming from the home.
Your father's a smart, wise
Yes,
man.
he's very
So I
smart.
could see how you look up to him and you learned a lot from him.
Throughout the years, I feel like my father and my mother have both been a very good role models.
That's awesome.
And my father is more paperwork,
Uh-huh.
math, every little detail. I I always say this, people always compare me to my dad, and they always say you and your father are exactly the same. Like it's exactly the same if it was a woman or if it was a man. You guys
Uh-huh.
think the same, act the same, walk the same, everything the same, and I feel like
You are your father's
yes,
daughter. Yes.
I am, and I feel like it's very good to me to hear that, just because I see my dad the way that other people do.
Mhm.
He's very smart. He's very outgoing. He's very to point with everything. There's no flaws. I don't see myself like that. I have my own flaws.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own flaws, but I feel like my father has been a really good role model. And for my mother, it's more like I see it at home, and she has taught us like everything that we have to do to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Being very good people to others, giving back and being there for people who maybe did you wrong as well. Just being a kind and good person.
Putting out into the world what
Yes.
you would like to receive.
Yes, and that's what she says a lot. Just because we come from a religious background. My mom's side and some of my dad's side are Catholic. We're Catholic, so I feel like God plays a big role in our life.
Yeah.
And just knowing that there's a higher and like a better path for everyone, regardless of who you are and what you do, is just what makes me, I feel like, a better person for others.
One of the things, and I'm sure everyone knows, the golden rule, right? And I think that we all learned that as kids right away, treat others as if you would like to be treated, and you're right. You reap what you sow, and I think you made a good point on that. Even treating others in even that are not kind to you, that don't
Yes.
treat you the same, still being kind to them. And
And
that's
it's
hard.
hard.
That is
It's
really
very
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Yes, especially when you're in the position where your emotions are everywhere.
Yeah.
If someone did you wrong, if someone did something to you, where your emotions are gonna go negative, in a negative way, I feel like it's very hard for you to stay in your own ground and
Yeah.
just making sure that you're keeping yourself positive and
Yeah.
you're so positive, because at the end of the day, regardless of what someone did to you, it would only affect you if you do it back to
Yeah.
them, if you react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever someone does to you, what I always say is, whatever someone does to you, whatever someone says about you, is coming from their own experiences. You never know what someone is going through,
Yeah.
and you never know why they might be saying that or acting in such way towards you.
And I gotta ask you, what is your mantra? What is that quote? Is there something, a saying, a phrase, a verse or something that grounds you, that every time you feel these certain ways, like your emotions are gonna get the best of you? Is there something that you read, that you look at, that just levels you out and reminds you, okay?
I think for me, the biggest thing is breathing.
Uh-huh.
I feel like as growing up, I've always been, a calm person, but there has been situations where I do get heated or my emotions get the best. The emotions get the best of me, and I've slowly started to, just take my own time, step back and just breathe, and making sure that what I will be doing next is gonna benefit me and gonna benefit people around me, because not only will it affect me if I react towards a bad situation, but it will affect someone else. You never know what can happen from a simple argument or a simple reaction towards you and the other person.
Yeah, because one thing that I've learned growing up, also like in church and with my faith, is like the tongue is a powerful thing.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you don't say something that's going to be triggering, because they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but we're, as kids, they would say that, but no, as I got older, I realized, no, the tongue holds so much power, and you could either build or break someone. And I'm not going to lie, like I've been on both sides of that, I've dished it out, I've received it, and it's like, whoa, like, so I agree with you, just positive, just spitting out positive, encouraging, building up people, and I like that, because it seems like you carry that into your profession, and going back to the whole building that relationship with your customers, your clients, I feel that radiating from you, that calmness, that kindness, and I think that's very important, not just for a profession, but just like you said, in general.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I just put myself in the position as a buyer in this case, or a seller. When you're starting and you don't know anything about basically anything, you just want to make sure that the person who is guiding you is someone who will be helping you out and is there for you regardless of the situation, and someone who isn't gonna, basically ruin you and the money that you're investing into your properties. I feel like if I was a buyer, I would want someone to guide me the best way they can. And
of course.
That's why I try to be that type of help and guidance to others.
No, that's awesome. That's great. Have you sold your first home already?
I have not sold my first home, yes. But I have helped families, essentially purchase their own home from other real estate agents. And I feel like for me, that has been a good start, just because I feel like I can speak on it.
Yeah.
And I could experience it in the position that they went through. I feel I have not sold my first home, but when the day comes, I tell people that I always talk to, once I sell my first home, I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep going,
keep on rolling.
And future me is gonna look back and say, I'm glad you took your time and you learned and you absorbed as much as you could before you jumped into selling a home.
Slow and steady.
Yes, because it's not. Yes, it's not just about selling your first home. It's not about becoming a real estate agent. It's more about the person that you are and the relationships that you build and the trust that you held or you hold with other people. and just being there for your clients and being there for your family members. There's a lot of family members in that I have at the moment who are working with me as well, to slowly build their documents, slowly build everything that they need for when the day comes and they want to purchase a home. It's an easy process. So what I am doing now is absorbing as much knowledge and as much, ideas as I can. So when the day comes, I'm there.
Second nature.
Yeah,
you're
like
just doing
there
it.
you go. Here's your home, and it's a easier process, not just for the buyer or the seller, but for a real estate agent.
Yeah. So if you guys are looking for your first home,
pull up on me.
Pull up. We're gonna put her information out there at the end of this video. On Instagram, we're gonna get you some clients. Or, flooded.
Even if it's not even about purchasing, if you're looking, I always tell my friends, it's never too late to start. You might be whatever age you will be, but if you're in your 20s and you're working 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, depending on your situation, I feel like just reaching out and seeing what you could do to get to the position that you want to be.
Okay. That's awesome. Aside from being a real estate agent, like I said, you are an entrepreneur, and there are many layers to you. You also have a business.
Yes.
You have 2 businesses.
Yes, I have a couple businesses. Yes.
And so what are those? Let's get into that. What are those other businesses that you do?
My other main business that I have is called Captured Moments with M&M, which is a photo booth and a 360 booth. And what we do is we are there for our clients as well, or anyone who might need to spice up their little parties or just an entertainment for their guests and their parties. I started this a year ago.
Okay, so you're fairly new.
Yes, I started it when there was no one around doing photo booths and the 360 booth. I had just seen it. I was scrolling and I had seen the 360 booth, and I said, "Oh, this is pretty cool. I wish I had this in the party that I had coming up." And the ideas started to flow. I started to do my research, and I started to make sure that what I was getting myself into was going to benefit me. So what I did is I had the idea going, and at the time I did not have the full money that I needed to start my business. Yeah. So I reached out to my father. My father said, at first he's like me. He wanted to make sure that everything that I was doing was going to turn out to be, positive.
Did he have you sit down and give a list of business meeting of pros and cons and charts and making sure?
So we had a small business meeting, and he was able to help me out in purchasing a couple of things that I needed for my business. So I feel like he was a big help for starting my own business. And when I did start my business, it was very hard. I always talk about this. It was very hard to start.
It takes a while, things that you start.
It took me a while to start, and there was a couple of failures in the beginning. And at first, it's when you start your own business or you start your own thing going, it's very hard, but it pays off. The same thing as real estate. But I feel like in this case, I did want to give up in the beginning, but I said, I'm already too deep into this. I have to keep going. I have to.
Consistency.
Yes. And I feel like when it first started going up in my business, it was about 3 months into my business. I had a couple of events going, but in my 3rd month of having consistent events every weekend, every Saturday, I remember when I first started, I was booked for 4 months straight, every Saturday, every Sunday, every single day, every weekend. It was filled, and for me, it was overwhelming as well, just because I had just finished school, and I was getting into my real estate courses fully, and I also had a job. So I feel like
you had
everything going on with me, and I just say it was worth it. I feel like everything that you do for your own self and for
it's an investment.
Others, it's an investment not only for yourself but for your future, for your children. I see it as, what can I show my children? What can I show my family for them to be better than I was? My kids are gonna say, well, what I think, my personal experiences, and what I see is my parents showed me how to be a better person. So I need to show my kids how to be even better than us. So I feel like that's another way why I push myself and my siblings and my parents. We all, as a family, we push ourselves to be better.
That's awesome. Um, I know that you're the oldest
Yes.
in your family. What is that pressure like?
It's. I feel like every older sibling says the
I
same
get it. I
word
get it.
by word.
Yeah.
We say the same thing. It's hard,
Yeah.
but it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
We love being older siblings, but we hate it.
Yeah.
You know, we're like this. In this case, I would be like the second mom, and the males it would be the second dad.
Yeah.
You know, we always have to be there as if we were the parents for our siblings. And I'm the oldest of 6 now. My mom just had a baby recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it was a very hard thing that as a family we all went through.
Yeah.
You know, my mom had a couple complications throughout the way, and it was very hard on all of us just because we had to take the next step into being there for her, the baby, and our family.
Yeah.
You know, we had to make sure everything is going the same way that she left it. And I feel like for me, it was harder just because I had to be there for my mom and the baby. And I joke about this with my sister. Then I tell her, you know, I feel like sometimes I had this baby because I'm with him like 24/7.
Yeah.
Like I don't get no breaks. And now that my mom's better, you know, she's able to take care of the baby a little bit more. But when she first had the baby in the first week, it was hard, and I was with the baby all day, all night, and it was very restless for me. So I could only imagine moms out there, you know, shout out to you because it's very hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and not only to have the baby, but to go through the process of having the baby.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
But I really enjoy being an oldest. You know,
Yeah.
I enjoy seeing them grow one day to the next. They're a completely different persons, and I love seeing them grow as human beings and just seeing them experience the like high school, middle school, you know, growth the same way that I did.
Well, my siblings are already older, you know, but they we're already older adults, but I did the same, you know. I was always that oldest, and just trying to lead by example, you know. Even now, right? It doesn't matter if you're young or old. You're always trying to like put yourself in a position to role model after that, you know. And I love that. Like I said, what it is that you're doing and you're continuing to do, and your determination, your resiliency, it shows. You know, so shout out to you, because that is the example that you're putting forth, you know, and from becoming a real estate agent, you know, owning your business. It seems like you're just determined, you know. What other businesses? Because it's not just those photo booth. And if you need a photo booth, 360, again, right here, you guys, you are a real estate agent. You own a photo booth, 360. You even know taxes, because you had mentioned about taxes.
Yes, I also do taxes. So if you have any questions, or are you interested in getting your taxes in, you know, hit me up. I'll help you out.
I'm going to hit you up for that.
Yes,
let's see if I run out of fingers, because it seems like you're just doing so much.
Yes. So my other business that I do have is my thrifting page, which is A. Maria's Closet. I started this page in 2018 when I was in high school. And it started off simply as me just posting clothes that I had thrifted myself up for sale on my personal account. When that started, I had a lot of people reaching out, you know, when are you going to take more clothes out? When are you going to bring more things for sale? And for me, it was kind of just my personal things. You know, I don't have any more. This is all I have for sale. So when I started to see a lot of people's interest in purchasing secondhand, you know, clothes, I started thrifting, and I started looking for clothes that could, you know, benefit me and create my own business.
Thrifting is big.
Yes.
Thrifting is really big in like our community.
It is, yeah. So when I first started, there was no influencers. There was no people like thrifting to resell. And when we started, we would do local thrift stores. So there's a thrift store in Watsonville called Thrift Shop. And it's owned by a cute Italian couple. Oh, okay. And they're always on point with everything they have.
The one on East Lake, right? Yes. Next to the other big...
By Gold Goodwill.
Yeah.
Goodwill?
Goodwill.
Yeah, Goodwill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Goodwill, we would go to
Goodwill, if
that
you want
one.
to pay me, just saying, I just threw your name out there.
Yes, a lot of people started to thrift, so prices went up
Yeah.
in Goodwill and a couple other thrift stores.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry, Goodwill, just like, it's for profit. You know,
Yes.
they jack up their prices.
They do, yes.
And then the last, like, since COVID, like, it's gone up.
Yeah, I think after 2021, that's when everyone was like thrifting, just because a lot of the stores in 2020 were closed. And that's where my business rose.
Yeah.
You know, I went from having 200 followers to 1,000 in like 2 months.
Okay.
So I feel like that was a big thing for me and my sister because we both started it together. When we started thrifting, we ended up finding a store in Salinas called Goodwill Center. Goodwill Center, I feel like it's Goodwill Center.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically clothes in a big bin, and you're able to purchase, like, depending on the pounds and how much it weighs.
Okay.
So at the time, it was 43 cents per pound. So it was 43 cents per pound, and then in a month or two, when we were we would fill up our carts all the way. Sometimes we had 2-3 carts, and when we would fill them up, I remember a month later, the prices were $1.43. So they raised them up $1. Yes. Wow. And now
they caught on.
Yes, now they caught on because there was a lot of people that would go into the Goodwill because it was the only thing that was open in the COVID years. And now it's $3.49, I believe.
A pound?
Yes, a pound.
Inflation.
Yeah, so I feel like that took a big toll on our business as well, and that's why we haven't been keeping up with our thrifting page. Mm-hmm. But when we first started, it was a very good hit for us, and it was something new to us, especially getting right after high school. You know, I was 18, my sister was turning 17, she was 16 at the time. And it was just something new to us, and we enjoyed doing it. We loved going out thrifting. It was just something that we already enjoyed doing. Yeah. So I feel like when we brought that into a business, it bloomed for us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people to this day still remember us. Oh, I remember when you went to your closet. Like, what happened with that? You know, it's still there, but we just haven't been updating it or posting clothes for sale.
When I tell people, oh yeah, Maria Martinez, you guys know her? Like, oh my gosh, the thrifting. Like, that's what the first thing that they would say. Like, she did thrifting and the clothes, and I loved it. Like, she needs to bring it back. And I'm like, I'll let her know.
Yeah, so I have a lot of people saying, when are you going to come back? Mm-hmm. There is a lot of people now who are doing it constantly, and I've seen throughout the years people who started and would ask me, how do I start? And now they're really doing it, and it's working out for them. And I'm really glad that a lot of people that are still thrifting are still having their business, fully running. So you're the
original, the OG?
I wouldn't say the original, but I was in the mix of them. Okay. Yes. I feel like when I started, I was in high school. There was no one else in high school selling their clothes or, doing thrifting pages. And then when I got out of high school, I did start to see a couple more people starting it. And for me, it was like, I was just like, at least there's more people doing it, not just myself. But it worked out for me and my sister.
That's awesome. So, real estate, taxes, photo booth, thrifting. What else you got?
Well, I do some paintings. I'm not the best artist, but what I have been doing throughout the years is doing graduation caps. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people come to me and say, my graduation is coming up. Will you mind doing my graduation cap?
So you're an artist.
I'm not the best, but I can say I'm pretty good at painting and doing. Yeah, I just like detailed things. Okay. So I feel like I take my time in painting, and I enjoy it.
Okay. Over there at the table, you guys can't see it, but I'm eyeing it. Baker.
Oh. Yes. I forgot about that. Yes.
And a baker as well.
No, I forgot about that.
What can't you do is the question.
What I can't do is I could do everything.
You could do everything.
I could do everything that I put my mind to.
And if you don't know how to do it, you figure it out.
Yes, and I feel like for me, I'm a DIY girly. Mm-hmm. I would say, like, I like to do things on my own. I like to I think about it as in, like, if someone else was able to do essentially something, I'm able to probably do it too,
Mm-hmm.
or even better, or depending. I just want to give it a try to
Yeah.
whatever I see.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes, and I've shot a couple of times of other things that I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to try to do lashes or do nails,
Mm-hmm.
and I was there, I was trying, but it didn't work out for me. And I feel like there's a couple of things that I have strived to try to do, and I didn't achieve them.
Yeah,
But
but you tried. You
day
gave
by
it a
day,
shot.
I
Yeah.
gave it a shot.
What's on your list? What's your next venture that you want to give a shot to?
I feel like my next thing, I have a lot of ideas that I want to bring out and
Mhm.
goals that I have. But I feel like for this year I want to focus more on myself,
Mhm.
and I want to focus on just having fun. And I feel like when you grow up in a home where your parents are very strict,
Uh-huh.
you aren't able to enjoy as many things as others.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been focusing a lot on growth
Yeah.
and not mainly on myself and just what I enjoy doing,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
and I think that's important because if you're a nonstop go, right? I think that's part of the journey, right? When you're growing and you're doing all these things,
Yes.
is taking a step back and focusing on yourself. Because my thing, and I tell people this all the time, right? And I've had prior conversations with people, regarding, especially like in a Mexican household, Latino household, right? We live where our culture is like family, 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 and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's
No,
nothing wrong
nothing
with
wrong.
that. And especially like las mujeres, right? It's like they put their family first, they put the husband, their kids first. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes we have to focus a little bit on ourselves,
On
and it's not selfish,
No.
right? And I tell people this, like, look, if I I need to do the things that I like, I need to recharge, because if I can't take care of myself, how am I going to be able to help
Take
others?
others.
Yeah,
Help others, yes.
yeah, and I think that's a misconception, right? That people have. It's like, focus on this first. Well, if something happens to me, I can't focus on that. That's why I gotta recharge. I gotta focus on me
Yes.
a little bit, a little R&R, a little leisure, just enough to like recharge,
Yes, and
and
heal. I
heal.
feel like as a person, the best thing you can do for yourself is healing.
Hmm.
And I'm not fully healed from like my whole life, and a
Hmm.
lot of people may say the same thing. It takes time to heal, and
Yeah.
it takes consistency and
Hmm.
just wanting to change and wanting
Yeah.
to better yourself. I feel like for me, the hardest thing for me has been growth and just becoming a better person. And when I hear from others and when I hear from my family members, I feel great about
Uh-huh.
myself. But there's other days where I doubt myself, and
Hmm.
I push myself to the goals that I want to accomplish. But when I strive through to accomplish them and I don't, it's very
Yeah.
hard for me, and
Yeah.
I put myself down. And I know I shouldn't think that way, and that's another thing that I need to heal in myself, is just taking day by day and
Yeah.
making sure that today is my main focus.
Yeah.
Today, my goal is to take it easy on myself.
Hmm.
If I go to the gym, so I feel like completing my workouts,
Hmm.
making sure what I eat is gonna benefit
Hmm.
me, is gonna
Taking care of
benefit my
yourself.
health.
Yes.
Yes, my vitamins. Just being good to other people, good to myself, speaking, you know, um, very good about myself, and just being there for myself and for others. I feel like is gonna benefit me in the long run.
Yeah.
Making sure that the day that I'm taking in today is gonna benefit me tomorrow
Yeah.
and in a year from now.
Yeah, I agree with that, because a lot of times, right, we focus too much on next week, tomorrow. We worry about yesterday, the day before,
Your past.
your past, but it's
Yes.
just like, no, you need to, all that obviously plays a factor, right? But at the moment, right, living in the moment, right, is where you need to put your focus on, because you can't control nothing. You can't control things that you can't control. You can't, why worry about it, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know, what XYZ, you know, I may not be here, you know, or what, but I can't worry about that,
Yes.
you know, and I worry about this moment, you know, obviously we're doing this podcast,
Yes.
but focusing on the moment, right? And what's that quote is, don't worry about tomorrow because it hasn't happened yet. Don't worry about yesterday because it's already happened. But worry about today because
it's happening.
It's happening.
Yes.
It's a present.
Yes.
Right.
And I feel like also when you think about the future, it's good to think about the future because you prepare yourself, but it's never good to dwell on the future and put yourself in the position where you stress, where you're saying, I'm never going to get to my goal because it's too far out or too big for me. Yeah. Yes. It's always good to, you know, be in the position that you're in right now and say, I'm not at the goal that I'm at that I want to be at, but I will eventually get there because of the actions that I'm taking today. And I always say too, with your past, you know, it already happened and it was meant to be. Everything that you are experiencing now, that you experienced and that you will experience is meant to be. Yeah. And you just want to make sure that your past experiences are not going to hold on to you and affect you in the goals that you want to accomplish, because your past is just, you know, it happened. Why live there?
Yeah. Well, this podcast is definitely meant to be.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Yes. You know, we won't get into the details of XYZ, but you know, it's here.
It's here and it's happening, and I feel like whoever is watching and whoever has made it this far, because you know, it's a podcast, looks at their life and sees their goals. You know, make sure that you have goals for yourself and goals for your family and goals for your future, and just goals that will help you and be a better person and heal from past experiences as well.
So I gotta ask again, you know, what is your philosophy? What is that quote? You know, you said breathe, you do some breathing exercises. But what is that? Do you have it on your phone? Do you have it on your wall?
Well, what I have in my phone is, if I could pull it out, is my vision board, which is my literally
so your goals.
My goals, I see them every day, is what I want to accomplish and what I want to reach to.
Okay, so that's
the first thing I see when I open my phone, when I close my phone, when I'm on my phone, is the visions that I have for myself and my goals that I want to reach. And I feel like a quote is just, for myself, is being present, being with God and allowing God to be there with you. I feel like the biggest quote for me would have to be, I think it's a hard one because there's a lot of good ones. There's
so many good
but
ones.
I feel like a good one that has really helped me has been just be yourself. Just be yourself and don't worry about what others may be thinking or what others may be saying, because that's their experiences, not yours.
I got one. It's one that it's a funny one. It's like, I don't care what you think about me, unless you think I'm awesome. Then you're absolutely right.
Yeah, you're right. If you think I'm awesome,
hey, I'll take it. You know.
Yes.
But one of my former guests, you know, ponte las pilas.
Yeah, ponte las pilas for real, because if you don't, then no one else will.
Yeah. Yeah, because no one's going to push you.
No one's going to push you. And then if you do have people pushing you, I feel like there comes to a point.
You're lucky.
Yeah, you're lucky to have them. Yes, you're very lucky. I have had a couple of people in my life who have helped me be the person that I am now, whether it's good or bad. And, you know, starting with my parents have always been a very good role model. You know, sometimes
shout out to mom and dad.
Yes, shout out to my mom and my dad.
You guys are watching this.
And, you know, I always say my firm as well. You know, the people in my team have always been there step by step, helping me throughout my ways.
Who's on that team? Who's on that team?
My team starts off with Ella King and Sergio Angeles. You know,
shout out to you guys.
Shout out to them. They're always there, and you know, I could call them and they'll pick up. They say, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, recently since I've been home, I've been with my mom. You know, every couple of days they're asking for updates. How is your mom going? How is she doing? How are you and your family? You know, we're here if you need anything.
Yeah.
You know, my team, as in also we have Mari Cruz. She is a processor. in our firm.
Okay.
She's who
Shout out
is
to you.
checking all the paperwork, everything detail by detail, making sure that you're
Yeah.
where you need to be. You know, we have Robert and we have Braulio. Robert is also a real estate agent in our firm, and he is also there to help families. He is also there as a processor.
Yeah.
Sometimes he helps Maricruz. You know, he does a little bit of everything in the office. Braulio is a real estate agent, but he's mostly doing loan off. He's
Yeah.
mostly a loan officer. He mostly works with families for their loans for the homes.
Okay. That's a shout out to you guys.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
And
that's big.
also, yes, someone I also want to talk about is I would say Casey.
Uh-huh.
Casey, he is a real estate agent in Santa Cruz. He was the one that helped my family get to their goal and purchase a home, as well as Sergio Angeles. Both of them worked together to
Awesome.
get to the goals that my parents wanted to reach. And they have both been there through everything. I recently got in contact with Casey, and he's coaching me to become a real estate agent and how to just learn the ways, ins and outs. And you know, we were talking about this 2 weeks ago, and he told me, I remember when you were about 11 years old, when your father just purchased his home, and I sat back and I thought about it, and it's been 10 years, and it's just an example. He's still there. Every year, every holiday, he sends us a postcard.
That's a real estate agent you want. That's someone.
And
right
learning
there.
from someone like that is what I strive to, to learn from. And also Sergio Angeles, he's very good at what he does. Loans, helping people. You know, I always say every 5 minutes he's getting a call from a client asking him things that aren't even real estate or loan officer related. And I feel like that's the two type of people that I strive to become, you know.
And that's important, right? I have so many philosophies, so many quotes, some things that just resign in me, right? But one of them is, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are.
Yes.
Right? There's that saying out there. And so it's all about surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Yes.
You know, you surround yourself with 5 smokers, you're going to be the 6th. You surround yourself with 5 troublemakers, you're going to be the 6th, you know.
Yes.
But if you surround yourself with people that are like-minded and people that have the same goal, right, positive influence, you're going to strive.
Yes, you're going to become better.
Yeah.
Because they're doing better for themselves and better for the friendship that you guys create. You know, they're pouring into your cup as well as you pouring into theirs. You know, it's a balance of a friendship, a balance of a relationship, you know, family members, partners. It's all a balance. And I feel like when you give it your all in a friendship and you're not receiving that as well, you're not going to strive and you're not going to become a better person for your own self. You know, there's a lot nowadays that we see a lot of people being friends with people that are not good for them. And
bad influences.
They're not able. A lot of people, what I've seen is that they say, you know, I've been friends for them for a long time. I know why they're like this. But whether or not they're like that is just if you want to stay in that position that they're in. If you want to grow with the type of people that are going to surround you and your family in the future.
No, for sure. And that's very important. That's key.
That's key.
You know, to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And I gotta give shout out to Arte de Corazon.
Yes,
you know, because Jessica
she works really hard.
Yes, she does.
She loves what she does, and I've seen her, you know, running back and forth with things that she needs to complete and that she needs to get done for the children. And I am
shout out to Monica too, the founder, the CEO of Arte de Corazon. Shout out to Ignacio. You know, soy tank candles, you know, and
they smell really good.
Yeah, we're in this we're in the room right now, and we smell.
I know they're like next door, and I'm just like sniffing at the candles. Yeah, like once I came in, that's all you like basically take in the smell of their candles.
Serious,
and it seems like he takes really like care and his time and what he does as well. You can tell when someone loves what they do.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's what we're surrounded with.
Exactly.
And that's what I really like about the podcast. And we spoke about this. You know, you started off, and you might seem like, oh, I just started, but no, you can tell and you could see your progress. And
Yeah.
I hope and I strive to see, you become
Thank you.
someone who is interviewing the president, interviewing,
Yeah.
wealthy and healthy people out there, and
Thank
just
you.
people who are going to surround and give you advice
Yeah.
for yourself and
Yeah.
for others. And I feel like Arte de Corazon has a lot of that. You see Jessica, you see Monica, you see everyone else in the complex,
Yeah.
doing better for themselves and for others.
Yeah.
They're people who care and people who love what they do.
Yeah. They take time at their craft,
Yes.
and it's crazy because growing up in school, they'd always tell us, oh, don't hang around with that person, X, Y, Z,
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, whatever, this is my friend. But then you get older, like, oh,
Yes, you're
oh,
like, oh,
yeah,
I
it makes
realized,
sense.
you
It
realize,
makes sense.
it's just part of growth. And
Yeah.
whether or not someone that you have in your life is good or bad for you, is just being in your own self and realizing, taking a step back and seeing this person is either going to continue with me or is not. And after you take that step is when your life starts to become either better
Yeah.
or, worse, depending on your own actions and your own experiences that you take in.
That is true. That's true. One thing that not only that I want to talk about too, aside from everything else that you're doing, you're involved in the community.
Oh yeah. I forgot we were gonna speak on that.
Yeah.
Just because we were talking about it like 2 days ago, and I had forgotten about it. Yes.
Yeah. So you are part of the Freedom Rotary.
Yes. So
what is the Freedom Rotary?
The Freedom Rotary, and every city and every state has, a group of people who love what they do, like we were saying, love what they do, love their community, and just want to grow with them. And what Freedom Rotary does is we focus on the Freedom California, which is our local city. And what we do is we make sure that everyone in the city is well taken care of. If there's anything going on, we try to be there for them. We were talking about how when we had the floods here in Pajaro, we were able to give back sofa couches, just
clothes,
clothes,
yes.
anything that the community needed back. We were there to help. And it's just I would say it's a group of us friends just trying to make it better. But sometimes I take a step back and I think about it just because I'm the youngest of them all.
Yeah.
When you go into the Freedom Rotary, everyone's older, of age.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's very hard for me, not hard for me to say that we're all friends, but there's an age limit.
Yeah, there's an age gap.
The gap between all of us. But I feel like we're just there for the community and just
That's great.
Being better as a whole group. And just when you go into the Freedom Rotary, you get a vibe of warmth. You just want to, hug everyone. Everyone's very
welcoming.
Okay. Yes. And I love what they started. Every Freedom Rotary is different, but our Freedom Rotary is just, I would say the best. I wouldn't say the best, but
shout out to Freedom Rotary.
Yeah, shout out to Freedom Rotary.
3 words to describe the Freedom Rotary. Just 3 words that just
giving, caring, and loving. I feel like that would be the best.
That's great.
We all have fun. We have our lunch and dinners. I haven't been there recently, but we recently we were part of the 1K, 5K runs that you went to.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I wasn't able to go, but
yes,
I know you could speak a little bit about that.
Okay, so every year, Strawberry Festival, it just started maybe 4 years ago. They're on Saturday, on the first day of the Strawberry Festival, they have in the morning a 1K, 5K little jog run, marathon, whatever they want to call it. And so the 1K is for the kids, and then the 5K is for the adults. They run in and everything. And so this year, shout out to Friends of Parks and Recreational Services, Community Services. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Paco, Tony, Mr. Labato, Daryl, Anna. Shout out to you guys. And so it was cool. It was my first time doing it. I'm not a runner. Okay, everybody, I am not a runner. But my friend convinced me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do it. But I ended up walking it. I was the last
Mm-hmm.
one, but I walked it.
But you made
But
it.
I did
You
it.
made it, and
it
you were there,
and it
and you
was,
experienced
hmm
something that I would have said that I would have liked to experience. Next year, hopefully that comes.
Next year. Yeah, they have it
But
every year, and it's so
you were
great.
out there, and you put yourself out there as well, and I feel like that's what matters.
Hmm
You may have walked it, but you still made it to the finish line.
And it
You
was such a
started and
nice,
finished.
nice. So how where they had it, because they changed it this year because Ramsey Park is
Mhm.
experiencing some construction and everything.
Yes.
But it started at Landmark Elementary School. It went down Ohlone Parkway towards the food bank, and it hung a left
Mhm.
through the slough. And let me tell you, that was the first time I ever walked through that
Mhm.
path. But it was so gorgeous.
It was
I'll
nice.
show
Yeah.
you a picture. Have you walked
Yeah,
that?
I've walked
Okay,
through there. Yes.
it is beautiful. And then I'm like,
Yes.
wow, like this is like in my
Like we've had
backyard.
this in our city. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things in our city that we've spoken about too that as a community don't even know about.
Yeah,
There's a lot of help and just
resources.
resources
I
that
mean, scenery. You
sceneries
know,
that we don't even know
yeah.
about until we experience
And
them.
I want to tell people about Mount Madonna. It's beautiful up there. Have you ever been up there?
Yes, I have.
Oh my gosh! So a couple years ago, during the COVID, right, I started doing a bunch of walking and hiking with my cousin. You
Hmm.
know, and so um, we just started going out. Right, everything was shut down. We couldn't do anything. We are like, let's go for a walk. All right, walked her into a hike, hiked her, and we just explored everywhere. And that's what I want to do with this page too. Is we're gonna do some hiking.
Hmm.
We're gonna be walking
We
around.
were talking about that last
Yes.
time that we were together, that you wanted to, incorporate blogging, which
Blogging,
is
yes, hiking.
something that I saw in the Strawberry Festival this weekend. I saw you out there, and I was like,
And,
okay.
you know, we gotta do a little bit of vlogging. You know, people
Yes.
know what's up. You know,
Mhm.
and so that's what I want to do. I want to showcase like hikes and trails and all that.
Yes.
But uh, going back, like it's underrated.
Mhm.
Mama Donna to this day, like I did some trails. It's so underrated. It's so beautiful, and that's the best thing about living where we live.
Yes.
We're surrounded by everything:
Everything.
the
Yes.
beach, the forest, Monterey, Santa Cruz. You know, Watsonville just sits in this like middle of everything.
It's like the sweet spot
The
of
sweet
everything.
spot, yes.
We have, I would say, the best weather. It's not too cold. It's
Hmm
not too hot. We do have those days
It's
where
emo. I'll
it's
say
emo.
that.
Yes, lately it's been a little bit like,
Hmm
is it summer or is it fall?
Winter, yeah.
Yeah, like what's going on
Because it
here?
goes from, so when we first summer first started, it was hot, right? Consistent
Hmm.
hot. Okay, cool, summer. But then now it's just like hot, and then windy, foggy,
Yes.
cold. But it's funny because that's not where it stops, because we're gonna have an Indian summer in September.
Hmm.
You know,
Yes.
October.
So we're still
We're
getting
still,
there.
yeah,
Yeah. But I do say like Watsonville has been really good for me, and I love it. Like
yeah.
I always hear a lot of people say, when I'm older, I'm gonna move out of state or out of the city, or I'm not gonna be in
It's
Watsonville. And
so
we do hear a
hard.
lot of that,
Yes.
but I love it here, and
Yeah.
I don't see myself
Moving away.
moving away from the 831.
Mm-hmm.
If I end up moving, it would probably be in Monterey County,
Mm-hmm.
or Santa Cruz County, which is the same county as
Yeah, we're like
Watsonville.
next door. Yeah, it's
Local.
it's it's crazy. There's something about it, right? And it sucks because we kind of, it's funny. We're talking about real estate, and I'm gonna talk about homes. Like homes are so expensive.
Yes.
You know, it's hard. You know, so ask questions. You know,
Ask questions.
um,
Yes.
but it's the idea of like moving away. Like, yes, we have it. Yes, we want to
Mhm.
explore, but it's like it has this gravitational pull
Yes.
that just doesn't let us go.
Yes, a lot of
You
it
know,
has to do with family,
yeah, family too,
especially in our community and
our culture.
our culture. We see a lot of families saying, "¿Qué vas a andar haciendo allá?" Like, what are you gonna do out there?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? You could just stay here, doing other things
Yeah.
locally or being with your family. And I feel like what I've seen from my personal experience would probably be my sister
Uh-huh.
joining the Marines. And it was hard on my parents just
Yeah.
because they were questioning every step of the way, everything that she will be doing. Why are you moving
Yeah.
out you're getting deployed. What do you mean you're not gonna call or text us for 3 months on your boot camp? Because that's what happens when she joined the Marines. She was in boot camp for 3 months and she wasn't able to contact us.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I could, yeah.
Yeah. So as a parent, you're worried.
As a sister,
as
as a sibling,
yeah,
like,
as a sibling, what's going
what
on?
just happened?
Especially just because me and my sister did everything together.
Mhm.
Everything that we did, businesses that we both created, that we would do, anything that we would do, literally, we would just go chill at the beach, just do anything. She was my right hand. So I feel
Yeah.
like when she joined the Marines, it was kind of it was just me and my siblings.
Shout out to sister.
Yeah, shout out to my sister.
Thank you.
She was here with us, but she had to leave. Yes, but I do see my parents slowly getting into the position of, my kids are growing up and they're going to have their own, ideas and their own growth. And I feel like for a lot of families, it's hard to see that.
Hard. Again, it's a cultural thing.
Yes.
It's a Latino thing. It's a Mexican, thing. It's kind of contradicting only because they teach us, hey, learn. Hey,
yes,
do
learn.
this,
Go to school.
Go to school. Process. Learn.
Yes.
And then when you do it, it's like, all right, my own. It's like, whoa.
Hey,
wait a second. I
calm
didn't.
down.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you to leave.
Yeah.
You're staying here with me. Yes.
Yeah.
We see that a lot. And a lot of what I see also in our culture is you have to go to school.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do. You have to go to school. And I had the ability to go to school. And I know that a lot of people did as well. But going to school isn't the only option,
Yeah.
You have to create your own goals. You have to make sure that where you want to be at is the today. If today is not working out for you, tomorrow will. As long as you don't give up in your goals and you don't put yourself through any negative mindset, or just being positive, just staying positive in your own self and believing in yourself and knowing that you will get there eventually, regardless if it's a year or 2 years, months.
Don't stop. Yeah.
Don't stop until you are at your goal. And I feel like life is very hard, especially because when you want to get to your goal, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen today.
We expect a straight line, right?
Yes, but it's never like that.
It's like this, up and
It's
down.
curves. It's
Yeah.
like hills, mountains.
I feel like this is like almost a motivational philosophical
Philosophy.
podcast right
Yes,
now. We just took a turn, but if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, slow down a little bit. If you can't
walk,
crawl. If you can't crawl, roll.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you're
To
doing,
get to your goal.
tooth and nail, just keep on going.
Yeah, keep
Consistency.
on going. Believing yourself is
But
probably a big thing as well, because when you don't believe in yourself, and you might have people in your life who believe in you, you'll never get to your goal, because as much advice as people give you, as much as advice as you listen, podcast, anything that you are absorbing, you will not take it in unless you believe in yourself and you take action. Yes, you take the first step.
One of the things that for me that helped me through all this process, I played sports in high school. I played football, I did some wrestling, so those teachings are engraved in me.
The consistency.
The consistency. Yes. And something that I still use to these days. And you're an athlete too in high school, so
yes.
you know the similarities, of that,
Of having a coach. I feel like in high school mainly, we see a lot of sports that do really good because of the coaches who also put in their time. They're there for their, students, they're there for the team, and they're just pushing the students to be better. I feel like for a lot of high school students and myself as well, you don't see that until you're already grown.
Yeah.
You don't see that the coach that is pushing you to do better is there to help you and the team grow and just to see you succeed. And it's very hard when you're in high school because you're just worried about what other people think, what's going on with school, the drama, whatever might be going on, classes, school, your grades, sports, if you are in sports clubs. There's a lot of factors that go into high school. And I always tell my siblings, enjoy high school
Yeah.
because it's not gonna come back, and try to do as many things as you
Mm-hmm.
can. Just because I saw it that way,
Yeah.
I remember being in middle school and not joining all the sports that I wanted to do. So for myself, I told myself in high school, I'm going to do all the sports. I'm going to do all the clubs. I'm going to do as much as I can so I could enjoy my high
Mm-hmm.
school year. And gladly enough, I did
Yeah.
enjoy my high school years. And I did a lot and I really enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
did softball, I did basketball, I did tennis, I did ASB, I did whatever I could to just
What can't
be
you do?
out there. There was times
Yeah.
where I was helping people, do their homeworks, you know, um, just being out
Yeah.
there and just being, I would say myself, because I really enjoyed putting myself out there until COVID hit and
Oh yeah.
we were
COVID.
very isolated and
It,
I started to get a little bit on my own
it's funny
and
how like all our conversations now, like in
have
general,
to have COVID in
revolve
them.
around COVID. I don't know
Yes.
how many times I've, since starting this podcast, like, oh, COVID is brought
COVID.
up. Oh, before
Yes.
COVID, after COVID,
Yes. And it's hard
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people got affected,
Yeah.
including me and my family, because of COVID going
Yeah.
on, and it might have been either good for some people or really bad for some
Yeah.
people. And I feel like going through that as a whole, your whole life changes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm still in 2021. Like where did 4 years go?
Right. It's
Where
like
did all
that.
these 4 years go?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even to this day, I feel like time has been going really fast, and that's why I always try to do the best I could today.
Yeah.
Just having everything set for myself for the next day and for the day that I'm in today.
Put yourself in a position to succeed.
Yes.
Yeah. So, man, I feel like we should start our own separate podcast, like
Yeah, be like, hey.
motivational
Motivation
speaking
quotes,
with Eddie
yes.
Maria and Eddie.
Yes, be like, hey guys. I feel like that would be good too. Just
Oh.
because
I'm gonna coin it right now. Don't take it. Ponte las pilas podcast.
literally Ponte las Pilas with Eddie and Maria
Yeah.
podcast. And, even before we were speaking on this, I was telling you about how I wanted to start it. And
Mhm.
I really acknowledge you and what you have done because you took the step and the initiative into starting it.
Yeah.
I still have, thoughts in my head. I will start it. I just need this, and this, for me, I'm very detailed, very detailed person.
Same. I'm
And
the same.
I just want to have everything set for myself for me to start it. And as of now, I have not started, but hopefully in the future, I have you in my podcast as well.
I got you.
Yes.
You want to hear the kind of the story of how?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if I've spoken on it in past episodes. I think with my cousin, the first episode, but this is really how it went. Okay, so 2018, right? I started working for the city of Watsonville, and I met a lot of people. I created friendships that are now one of my closest friends, Jessica Crosco included. And so vlogging, when I got into vlogging, doing my thing, I was just such an outgoing person. And people were saying, oh, why don't you do videos, do vlogging, this and this. And that. Oh, well, Snapchat back then, I'd put it online and everything. I tried to do a little bit motivational stuff. But things kind of started taking a turn when I started getting involved with the community. And I was just kind of like messing around, talking to people. Hey, what's up? This and that. And then around that time, like 2018, 19, like podcasts were kind of like they were there, but they're for some reason like blowing up. And then I decided, I'm going to start a podcast. All right, cool.
And you did.
And I kind of sort of did, but then COVID hit.
We were speaking on that.
Yeah,
last
COVID
time.
hit, and then all of a sudden, everyone had so much time in their hands, and everyone was just like stuck at home. Then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy some equipment. I bought some the Rodecaster board right here, the setup right here. I got some headphones, and I was messing around. But then, just like anything, right, you hit bumps in the road,
Yes.
and you just kind of like you get lazy. You don't, and then COVID, after people were doing so much during COVID that I was like, dude, what am I doing? And I did some things, right? I went out exploring. I did a lot of hiking and everything, but just I couldn't get it off. And the entire 2020 was just a roller coaster for me. 21, I messed around with the idea, and for about about 2 years from like 22 to like early this year, it was dead. Like there was like, I feel like it was just dead. I had the equipment just sitting there and it was just like, and I tried. There was like at least 3-4 times that I actually recorded some stuff, which maybe in the future I'll release like the director's cut of like the first episodes.
The bloopers.
The bloopers or like, you know,
the behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes of
Yes.
everything that I did first originally that it just, I wasn't feeling
That'd be
it.
great. That'd be a good idea to do.
Yeah, in the future I'll do it episode like, you know, in the 50s when I get to the 50 episode.
When you get a couple more people.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, again, it goes back to surrounding yourself with people.
Well-minded people.
Well-minded, same goal, getting better, community people. And my friend kind of helped me out. She gave me that boost of encouragement. And I said, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I got this space here in Ate de Corazon. I brought all my stuff. I set up. And I told myself I was going to release it on my birthday in April, this past April. And I reactivated my Instagram account that I had created during 2020. And I put out there, hey, this is happening. And the minute I did that, I had no choice but to get it off. Because the person that I am, I cannot say I'm going to do something or claim to be something and not do it.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. And so it put me in such an uncomfortable position, right? Right, Eddie? Uncomfortable. You, those that know, they know. But I shot my shot, and I just, from April to now, I just kept on going. Consistency. And there's moments that I still have where I'm like, oh, crap, like, I don't know what to do. I'm struggling, you know, but I'm finding a way. As you guys can see, there's obviously been an evolution of the setup, right?
Yes.
From the couch to an office to the, you know.
Every place.
Everything.
Until you get comfortable. I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, you're just starting. You're doing very well for yourself. And I feel like where you're going to end up is going to be very good, just because I do see that you take care of the people that come in here, you know. We like how we had the conversation.
Yeah.
We have a conversation before we even do the interview, you know. You build, you know, connection between the person and yourself, and you just want to see
Others shine.
your
I want
other
to see
shines,
others.
and you want to see the people who are watching, you know, get the best results and get advice that, you know, will benefit them, not just, you know, someone speaking and, you know, just talking about, you know, whatever they could be talking about. And I feel like that's something that I see in you that's really good. And I just see progress, you know. I see growth, and I just see
you. And this
something
is
coming up very good.
And I say, this is for the people. You know, I mean, I'll take my name off of it. El Local, you know, like, you are the people that I want to put out there. You are the people that make this community, you know, going. And again, I love this. I love this. The fact that it's not just about a home, selling a house, right? Because let's face it, there's people out there that they do it for the paycheck.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone knows that real estate agents, they go based on commission. The fact that you haven't sold a house, but you're still doing what you're doing, building that relationship, you are helping people with questions, like putting them in positions to succeed. You're a leader in the community. And that is what this podcast is all about.
Yes,
right?
and you spoke about, you know, commissions, and that's very true. And as of how things are going right now, we see a lot of real estate agents having, you know, their clients sign the waiver of, you will only work with me and only me. And the way that we work in our office is that we don't make you sign anything you don't want to sign. You know, you're here because you want to work with us. You know, like we say, the people who want to work with someone, they want to work with them because that's the people they want to go to. They're not gonna go, you know, look for other people if they're set with what they have and if they're set with the person that's helping them. And we just want to be the type of people who are going to help you and guide you to the position that you want to get to. We might not be, you know, the top number one of the
Mm-hmm.
whole state or the top of our city, but you know we're gonna be there and we're gonna help you.
Relationship,
Yes, relationship.
communication.
Yes, and we just try to help your
Yeah.
community. Like we're not. We do try to be in all California, but we
Mhm.
just try to stay locally. You
Yeah.
know, we are helping you because we know where you came from.
Yeah.
You know, especially in the our Latino and Latinx community, we see a lot of people being scared to make
Yeah.
the first jump. So we know how it feels. We
Yeah.
know what you're experiencing and what you're feeling now,
Mhm.
and we know where you could get to and how you could get to
Yeah.
the position that you want to be. In this case, you know, purchasing a home, you know, having investments, having your family set, especially I feel like for my family and I, our hardest spot was renting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was a lot of things that were going on when we were renting. Our landlord having us kicked out. They had family moving in, so that a lot of the renting situations were very hard, and you
Yeah.
just know you don't know what will happen throughout the years that
Yeah.
you're renting and the
Yeah.
money that you have put into the home that you're living, and the just the energy
Yeah.
there in your home is your landlords, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm not opposed to renting, but I do say don't get stuck in renting.
Yeah.
You know, don't get stuck 10 years I'm still renting, 15 years. You know, life happens and there's situations that might stop you from not purchasing a
Yeah.
home. But it's always good to, you know, take the initiative and put yourself out there and say, you know, I want my family to stop renting. I want
Yeah.
my family to have something of their own.
Yeah.
And I would say a lot of people in our culture and our community say, I have this money and I've been saving it for a long time and I'm not just going to spend it on a home. And we say, this is your hard earned money that you took time and, you know, valued to receive it. You know, why wouldn't you invest it in yourself and your family? You're just going to keep paying rent to a landlord. And, you know, I'm not opposed to it, but it comes a day where you need to see future.
Take the step forward.
Yes, take the step forward.
That's awesome. I mean, again, if you need a house,
Let me know. Yes.
If you need a photo booth, if you need
anything,
anything,
advice,
just-
talk to a friend,
Yes.
a coffee date. You know,
Yes,
I'm here
yes.
just because I know that a lot of people struggle with finding friends and
Yeah.
just putting themselves out there. And personally, me as well. You know, sometimes I wouldn't say a shy person, but it's hard for me to put myself out there. And a lot of the times that I do put myself out there is because someone is there, you know, with me, or you know, my friends, my family, my siblings, you know, XYZ, whoever is there with me, you know, is there to be there for me essentially, and I'm there for them as well.
This is good.
Yes.
This is awesome. No, Maria, this is great. You know what you're doing and what you continue to do. It's exciting to see. Right, I can only fathom what you're going to accomplish. You know, and I'm glad I was able to you were able to come on. You know, and we're just gonna wait and see what you do next.
Well, we both do. I feel like in the future, it's just growth. You know, we're here for the same reason. We're here to educate them and then just give them the enough resources as we can. You have your own resources. I have my own, and combine it just makes them, you know, hopefully think about the next step in their life. You know, if it's not purchasing a home, if it's not booking a photo booth, if it's not coming on the podcast, if it's not XYZ, it's more about their own person and how they want to grow. You know, the only advice I give is just focus on yourself, focus on the day that you're living today, focus on the goals that you want to accomplish, and being grounded, just being yourself. And you know, you might not be religious. A lot of people are not religious, don't follow, you know, any type of religion, culture. But what I think in my personal experience is being Catholic, you know, going to church on Sundays, you know, having just feeling and just knowing that you're not alone. You're not alone in whatever you do, and just reaching out for help. Especially nowadays, a lot of people want to do their own things, and you know, they want to me, I'm the best, you know, I'm number one. But it's not like that, because in order to build an empire, you need resources, you need people, you need someone to hold the foundation up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah, I'm excited. This is
Yes.
awesome. Yeah,
I'm just excited for both of us,
yeah,
especially you, because you're starting off your podcast. And I feel like it's going to go really well for you, especially because you're already involved in the community. You know what it takes to be a leader, you know what it takes to become one, and you know who to bring into your podcast. So I feel like it's going to go very well for
thank you,
me.
thank you, and then
And
you yourself.
hopefully,
Yes, no, it's gonna happen. It's I like to say, speak it into existence. It's been done. It's already
yeah,
happened. It's signed, sealed, delivered.
yes, we're going to get to where
We're
we
there.
want to.
We're there.
Yes.
We're there
Mhm.
because I speak things into existence. So
Let's manifest everything.
manifest everything.
And let's
Yes.
pray for
Yes.
everything to be well. And even if it's not going well for you, if you're in a position where you cannot sustain yourself, you can't move forward because of whatever reason you're going through in life, just making sure that you're aware of the emotions, not taking it out on other people or yourself, but just being aware of the emotions that you're going through and making sure that what you're going through is going to benefit you. If it's something negative that's happening in your life,
Brush it
it's
off.
meant to be.
Mm.
Learn from it and move on.
Move on. Brush it
That's
off.
it. Yeah, just, make sure that you're aware of it happening,
Hmm.
but just make sure that it will not happen again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Maria, thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Yeah.
this has been a treat.
Mhm.
I really appreciate it, and good luck. With what's coming. Um, Everybody, Maria Martinez. Uh,
Thank you guys for having me
thank
and taking your time if you made it this far again, because, podcast takes time out of your day. And
Yeah,
when you listen to podcasts, which is what I do, sometimes you get off, you start dowsing out away, and you get away from the podcast. But I feel like when people take their time to really listen to other people's stories, in
hmm
this case yours and mine, you learn something out of
yeah,
it. Whether if it's, you driving, you being at home, you cleaning, you cooking,
yeah,
just doing whatever you got to do to be better. I feel like listening to other people's experiences is going to put you in the position where you're going to grow,
yeah.
not only for yourself, but for others.
Yes,
It's an experience that you're taking in, but you never experienced it, but you are surely like
yes.
putting yourself through it.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for stopping by, guys.
You guys, and
Check her out on her social medias. I will tag them on there. But thank you again.
thank you.
Guys, thank you again. Stay tuned for everything that's coming up. I'll see you guys next time. God
Stay safe.
bless.
God
I'll see you guys.
Adios.